At just 20 years old, Jeremy was arrested and charged with capital murder in the death of 18-year-old Jessica Curran. Jessica's body was found beaten, raped, and burned. Jeremy spent 3 years in prison, but then all charges against him were dropped. Now, nearly 20 years later, another man is serving a life sentence for kidnapping, raping, and murdering Jessica. But Jeremy says people still believe that he is the true killer and the wrong man is behind bars. Take a look.
Police say 18-year-old Jessica Melissa Curran died from multiple blows to the body. Investigators say she was assaulted and her body set on fire. Police say the crime happened behind the Mayfield Middle School early Sunday morning. So far, police say there are no motives.
I was falsely accused of a horrific murder that I did not commit. A woman that I had a one-night stand with a year prior to her death, she was brutally raped, murdered, set on fire, and thrown behind a middle school in a small town in Kentucky. One night, me and my girlfriend broke up. I got mad at her. I took a walk. I heard some female voices calling at me, you know, hey, come here. I asked the girl if they smoked weed. They both replied, yes, we do. The black female, she offered her hand. I kissed it. It melted her. She fell for it immediately. So we smoked, we partied, we had a ball. We enjoyed each other's company. We had sex. That's all I know of the woman. That's all I know her. I didn't even know her last name. She introduced herself as Jessie. That's all I know. A year goes by, and I'm sitting there and I watch the news. A glamour shot pops up on the television. I don't recognize the girl at the time, and I pay no mind to it. I made no connection that it was the woman that I had sex with a year prior. She was beaten. According to the news, she was beaten, she was raped, she was bludgeoned to death, she was strangled, she was stabbed. Everything was done to this woman. It blew my mind. Later on, I'm arrested on August the 4th of 2000. I had been on the run for a prior drug charge, and I'd bail jumped. I didn't go back to court. I ran. Anyway, long story short, normally they take you straight to jail. They took me straight to the police station talking about a murder. And then I'm supposed to have a child by this woman that had passed away. I said, man, you lost your mind. The police, they come to me and they showed me the pictures of this woman's mutilated body. I have never seen something so horrific in my life. So I went back to my cell in a shocked state. I started discussing these photos with my cellmate. He contacted the police and said that I confessed to a murder. 2 weeks later, the police indicted me for a capital murder that I did not commit. They said I would not have known this type of information unless I would have been at the crime scene. Why would I not when you just showed me the photos of her mutilated body? Now here I am, just the ripe age of 20 years old. I'm facing the death penalty. These people are trying to kill me with with only one piece of evidence. This guy saying that I confessed to a murder that I did not commit. Man, I give you my word to God. I ain't never killed nobody in my life. Never have, never will.
Jeremy, you were arrested for capital murder, but the charges were dropped.
Yes, sir.
What happened before your trial?
The day before my trial was scheduled to begin, my lawyers came to me and they told me that she was filing for dismissal in the case because 18 crucial pieces of evidence had been withheld from my lawyer. Each piece said physically that I was not a guilty party in this scenario. I have never taken another life in my life, bro, and I never will. So the very next day, the case was thrown out. The prosecution said if my lawyer had not have filed for the dismissal in the case, that he himself would have filed for dismissal. When my case was dismissed, the judge himself threatened to fire the prosecution because he said, you mean to tell me you brought this man, the right 20 years old, brought this man before my courtroom and you don't have one piece of evidence to support your theory that this man is guilty of capital murder? Capital murder means that you're facing the death penalty.
You go out one night, you have a one-night stand, right?
Yes, sir.
You have sex with this girl. A year later, she ends up dead, brutally murdered, raped, burned. You get charged with the crime, even though you're like, I haven't seen her. You saw her on TV that she was murdered. But she got pregnant with your child.
Yes.
And you had no idea.
Absolutely none whatsoever.
When did you find out that she had your baby?
The police came to me, and the police, when like I said, on the like 3 days after she was murdered, when I get to the police station, the FBI sits before me. So I'm like, and they begin to question me on a murder. I'm like, man, they're saying that the victim has a baby by me. And at first I thought they lost their mind. You see what I'm saying? Because that glamour shot that you see right there, I was not making the connection that was the same woman that I had.
She didn't look like that.
She didn't look like that. That's a glamour shot. That don't look like her in real life. And they said, would you be willing to take a DNA test to clear your name in this scenario? I said, absolutely. So we left from the jail after viewing several photos of her mutilated body. We go straight, and there was DNA found under her nails that did not match me. So I asked him, do you have another photo of this woman other than the one that you saw? When I look at it, my heart drops. Because within her arms is a child, and his eyes penetrated my soul because I know my eyes. I know my baby when I see him one. So from that point on, I never denied that child was mine. And for every day for the last 20 years, I have tried to be a part of that child's life, but have been denied.
He came here today to clear his name because due to his relationship with this young woman that was murdered, he wants a relationship with the child that he's never met, who's his son. He came here to clear his name. And I put a lot of stock into our show's lie detector test. If he passes, would you believe the results?
No.
I mean, not to sound cruel, I don't give a damn about you. You seem like an okay guy.
Right.
I wouldn't want to live next door. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, right? You know, I mean, you know. So what I'm saying is, as we always have done, no bias in this with us. Whatever this result is this man came here to either clear his name or get blown up.
Get blown up, man.
Because
hey.
if you are facing murder and you would come here, that little clause
on national television,
that little clause they put in his release saying, we're dismissing this with prejudice, meaning we could come back after your ass, right?
Right.
So if he would fail, I think that would give them,
that's a risk, ain't it?
This guy,
ain't that a risk?
A lot of motivation to go back and put this guy in jail. So Jeremy did come here and took a lie detector test. And we asked him, when you had sex with Jessica in 1999, was it consensual? You answered yes. Did you cause Jessica's death? You answered no. Did you participate in any way in Jessica's death? You answered no. The results of your lie detector tests, all the results came back the same, and they came back that Jeremy told the truth. You know, with a case like this, and why I keep hammering away at physical evidence, like anything happens in all our lives, there's things that I thought that I remembered the right way, and my buddy's like, no, Steve, you know. He comes involved in the case 10 years after the fact, and it's all based on witness statements, right, which to me after 10 years after every passing day becomes more unreliable as investigators we know.
Sure.
What would you like to add, Dan?
So eyewitness accounts are the least reliable. However, they are direct evidence in a court case. Even DNA evidence is considered indirect evidence. So eyewitness statements, not very, very accurate, as you had said, Steve, from your former law enforcement days. Here is relevant question number 5, where I asked the subject if he was involved in that murder, and he has no significant reaction, whereas you can see in the question before, which is actually a comparison question, which he is supposed to have a reaction on if he does lie, he has a reaction, but he does not have a reaction on his test, where I asked him about his involvement in the murder. As far as I'm concerned, he's forensically been cleared.
For 20 years, I've been accused time and time again of this horrific crime that I did not commit. Had no involvement whatsoever. And because of the way my case was dismissed, the police didn't go back on television and say, hey, we charged the wrong man, when they later charged, tried, and convicted this other man. They didn't say, I'm sorry. They just left it out in the open. Being that I was the one that originally charged in the case, they left it for the community to decide, and it left doubt in the community. That is my purpose for being here today, to clear my name in the eyes of the world.
Now you're able to do it, man. Good luck to you. If you like what you see, all new episodes are coming, and you do not want to miss out. Click subscribe now.